everyone, and welcome to Whose Life Is It Anyway? A show where everything is made up, but the points actually do matter. If any of that sounds a little familiar, well, that's because yes, this is an improv comedy podcast where all the stories you're about to hear were completely made up on the spot, guided and prompted by real improv comedy games. How does it work? Well, two players are tasked with having a podcast-like interview or conversation, making it all up as they go, but there's a third guest who can interrupt at any time and give them new rules or new directions for their conversation via a list of different improv games and guidelines. How do you win? Well, if a player breaks character or simply doesn't follow the rules of the game they're in at the time, the other person is awarded a point, and at the end of a 20-minute time limit, the guest with the most points wins, and of course, becomes known to the world as a comedic genius. So, without any further ado, let's find out who's making stuff up in this episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Whose Life Is It Anyway? We are about to make up a podcast right on the spot and fake someone's life story like our lives maybe depend on it, even though they don't. Just a couple points written on a piece of paper. Who's going to be writing that on that piece of paper? Who's going to be keeping track and being the host of this episode of Whose Life? My friend, Drew Hiles. Drew, welcome back to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited to host for the first time.
Yeah, you're in the captain's chair for this one. And the person that I'm competing against, the person that we would just be in the trenches just scrapping and clawing, I've got to face a comedy god in this episode. Returning to the show once more, Josh Emerick back.
Well, hey there, guys. I'm just as good of a podcast host as Ross is, and I'm grateful to be here.
There we go. We have not started playing impressions and or accents yet,
shit.
so
My
I
bad.
think you start negative 1 point. Drew, that's up to you, but, whatever you want to do. But before we do get started, Drew, all of this is up to you, so you need to lay the groundwork for us. Let us know if you have any ideas. What are we going to be doing? Who's interviewing who for this podcast, and what is the podcast in general?
All right. So my idea for this podcast is, well, first of all, you are going to be the host, Ross, and Emerick, you shall be the guest. And what's going on is you were a squirrel tamer who was secretly bitten by one and slowly turning into a squirrel. So, that is the theme of the podcast. Ross, you will be the interviewer. Emerick, you are the squirrel-bitten interviewee.
Beautiful. All right, whenever you get us on the clock here,
I'm a great actor.
We'll begin. I cannot wait to see where this goes.
And whenever you are ready, begin.
All right, hello, everybody. Welcome to the nice nature podcast here, Nutz Out. I am so happy to be sitting with my guest for this episode, world-renowned squirrel tamer, Skeeter Cyanide. So Skeeter, I really do appreciate, everybody knows you around the internet at Skeeter Loves Squirrels. That's your tag. We all follow it. We all follow YouTube, everything like that. I'm a nature lover myself. The Nutz Out podcast has been going for about a couple years, but I've never had a guest quite like you. No one tames squirrels quite like you, right?
That is very true. There isn't anyone that can, quite tame squirrels like I can.
You don't seem real excited about taming these squirrels, but
I wanted to first just say,
yeah,
thanks for, inviting me to the Nutz Out podcast. I've always had the dream of having my nuts out and being on this podcast and talking about all the squirrel taming skills that I've obtained over the years. And the reason I'm not showing so much enthusiasm is because I don't want to come off with a big ego, even though I know I'm the greatest.
Okay.
Change.
I don't want to come off with, a big ego because I'm not actually very good at what I do.
Really?
Really.
Okay. A little bit of a change at the beginning of you do love squirrels though, right? And nature and everything, or are you just not good at it, or?
Oh, no. I love squirrels.
Okay.
I'm just not very good at it, and I really, it's all been a facade. The YouTube channel you mentioned, I have to pay for those views, and a lot of it has been fabricated. Editing, you wouldn't believe what's really out there. I'm scared to death of squirrels.
Oh, okay. So
Accents only.
All right, so you're afraid of squirrels, but you try to be around them, but I'm sorry, you've got me off guard right at the beginning of the episode here. I'm kind of confused. You like nature, you like squirrels, but you're not good with them.
Well, I'll tell you what, that might be true. And the thing is,
You all right?
not feeling so good. Yeah, it's changing the way I feel.
Okay.
But before
sorry.
I came here, I was on a little excursion. And
Yeah, one of Skeeter's excursions. That's one of my favorite segments on your YouTube.
I love the Skeeter excursion, but
Yeah.
let me just compose
Are
myself.
you all
for a
right?
second.
Do you need a water or anything? I can grab you a water out of the. Are you
fine.
okay?
I'm fine.
Okay. Oh, all right. Now you're giggling about all the shit you're doing.
Natural response.
To what? A natural response to the question I just asked you about whether you like squirrels or not.
I'm feeling quite better.
Roll switch.
It's just a little bit and you know, let me just say I had a run in with a squirrel before I came here. So
Well, Triscuits.
what the fuck did you just say?
Josh loses a point for being a fucking idiot. Ross has got a point. Switchback rolls, no accent. Go.
Oh, thank God.
Okay, so you had a run-in with a squirrel before you came here? Wouldn't you have a lot of run-ins with squirrels? Isn't that your thing?
Never seen one like this in my life, though.
Okay.
It was about the size of a bear.
Are you crying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not feeling myself. But what I'm really excited to talk about is I've always been scared of squirrels, but I tried to face my fear today and truly loved the sport. And this one bit me
sport
right.
of squirrel taming?
Yeah, Skeeter's Peters extraordinaire was really founded
Who's
on
that
the idea.
called? Who-
Whatever you name my show, I forget the name all the time. I have a hard time with my thinking. But I
Okay.
like going out on adventures. I was trying to face my fears today out in the woods.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I've never seen a squirrel like this before.
But you've seen squirrels in general. Just not like this.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, this is... So what, I mean, describe this squirrel.
Fortunately, unfortunately.
Well, fortunately, I got bit, but I closed my eyes because I was so scared that I just had to imagine what he looked like, so I don't have a vision for him that I can share with you.
Oh, so fortunately you closed your eyes while you were getting bit by a wild animal and that didn't make it as bad?
Unfortunately, I don't know what the definition of fortunately means.
Well, unfortunately for me, I brought you as a guest onto my wildlife podcast, and this is not going out. I thought it was going to.
Fortunately for me, the numbers have been down on the podcast show and on the YouTube channel that I have.
Okay.
And this podcast, I'm really hoping is going to pull me out of my rut.
Unfortunately, I'm getting a little creeped out by all this twitching and scratching that you're doing. So you were
fine.
bit by a giant squirrel?
Unfortunately, I was bit by a giant squirrel.
Okay, well,
I'm just trying to make it through this.
fortunately, I feel like this is going to make for some freaky fucking content around the internet. So maybe this will work for my show after all.
Fortunately for you, you got me on the show today.
All right, both of you guys get a point. You can stop. Fortunately, unfortunately, that was an incredible job. We're switching over to number of words. Ross, you get 5 words. Josh, you get 1. And go.
So, attacked by giant squirrel?
Definitely.
Where did you find that?
Woods.
So, why were you there?
Because
So, YouTube show or not?
definitely.
It kind of seems like lies.
No.
it kind of seems like lies is 6 words. You lose a point, Ross, or Josh gets a point.
Shit, I thought I said kinda.
All right.
Fuck. I'm going to win.
So you're sure you're okay? Are you sure you're okay?
Nuts.
Yes. Nutz Out. Nutz Out is the podcast. Okay, so speaking on
Questions only.
you do know why you're here, right?
Do you have any nuts?
Do you know the name of the show?
What's the name of the show?
Is it not called Nutz Out?
I don't know. You tell me.
Are you bleeding?
Does it look like it?
Is that blood on my table?
What's your name?
Are you scratching your hands that are turning into claws?
What's that?
So you got bit by a giant squirrel?
What's a squirrel?
Are you slowly turning into a giant squirrel after being bit by one earlier, after being a squirrel tamer?
Are you turning into a squirrel?
Does it look like I am?
Do you have any nuts?
Didn't you ask that already?
I don't know. Did I?
Are your nuts out?
I lose.
Was that a question in the form of squirrel?
Oh, you both get a fucking point because that was
definitely lost. I definitely lost.
yeah, for sure, but I don't care. You got a point. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'm really confused, but also slightly excited. But just to kind of keep the show going here, I guess I should try and keep the regular structure, regardless of what's happening to you. So it's time for a segment that I do on the show all the time. What is the nuttiest thing you've done in your adventures? So, you're out there, you're in nature, you're in wildlife. What's the nuttiest thing you've done?
Shit in my shoes.
What?
Gotta shit in my shoes.
You say you just shit in your shoes? No,
I shit in my shoes.
No, I asked for something you like in the past.
Last season, I was out there with Tony, and he was filming, and I had to poop.
Okay.
I shit in my shoes.
Okay, so you were
nutty.
You were
There was
filming
nuts in my shit.
You were filming
was
your YouTube show that you sort of film but don't really film. Why are you scratching so much?
I think squirrels scratch.
Film noir.
There was something, just a subtle hint. I began to wonder if he even knew what a squirrel was. But I couldn't quite put my finger on exactly what was making me think that. So it really seems like you have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
I know it might seem that way, but I'm just grateful to be here. What he didn't know was that I'm not very good at pretending to be a squirrel.
So, I mean, you're all dirty, you're scratched up, you have 2 very obvious, what seem to be giant squirrel teeth marks on your neck with an open wound. I'm just trying to, did you get bitten by a squirrel and now is something happening here?
If you know what I mean, and we can quit film noir.
Thank God.
You're starting to act a little nutty, if you know what I mean.
You fucking lose a point.
Man! If you know what I mean, I lost.
All right, we're going to go to the alphabet, and we're going to start with X.
Xylophones are something that I believe squirrels love to play, right?
You're absolutely right.
Zorro. Is that a Zorro t-shirt you have on?
Absolutely.
But anyway, can we get back to the squirrel stuff?
It's but. He said but. I was like, he said anyway. I said A. I win. Damn it.
You did not win. You just
I'm
lost
gonna come
a
back.
point.
I'm gonna come back. Go win.
Proceed.
Yeah. Anyway.
Okay, so let me just try and, I mean, this has been a wacky episode of Nutz Out. I'm trying to keep us on track here, but so let me get this clear. You are afraid of squirrels, but you built an you built an entire, are you okay, Skeeter?
Nuts.
Skeeter?
Yeah, what was that? I'm back.
So, I mean, how have you maintained building an entire brand in this YouTube channel off of being with something? You're a squirrel tamer, but you're terrified of them.
You know, lots of drugs will let you do just about anything that you'd want to do or want to imagine to do. If you know what I mean.
Okay. Well, really quick, if we could pause for a second, I want to play another segment here on Nutz Out. We're going to play What's Your Favorite Type of Nut? So I'm going to hand you a couple, and you're going to try them, and then we'll see which one's your favorite one, okay? So here's that one. Let's see if you can identify what it is.
Keep my eyes open?
No one said you had to...
Hazelnuts. My favorite.
Hazelnut, that was okay. That was right, and you loved it. Okay, try this one here.
Oh, fuck. Peanuts. Ugh.
All right. Okay, so we don't like peanuts. Gotcha. Okay,
Allergic.
let's...
Letter change. The letter N will start with P.
Pow, let's try this one.
Wait, what was that again? Hold on. Letter change.
You said one, and that has an N in it, so fuck you, Ross. Josh gets a point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit.
I didn't even know the game. Also focused on being a squirrel.
Proceed.
So, do you want me to call for help or anything?
I want to scurry. I want to run up a tree.
Okay, so you don't have a lot of time
I'm going to live in a tree.
left. Is that what you're? So okay, so we won't do any more of the nut segments. I'm just trying to kind of stay on brand. I'm trying to reach the heights that you have around the internet. You know, you've built a really good brand for yourself, and I'm just trying to get the Nutz Out podcast, you know, to that kind of level. Okay, I think I should call someone. Do you happen to know any other squirrel tamers that maybe I...
There's 5 minutes left. Here is your whose line is it is. Anyway, whatever. There's 2 secret lines that you have to use within the next 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah, I just appreciate you having me on the show.
I really don't
feeling
think
very good.
Yeah, I don't think you don't look good. Your 2 front teeth have I think grown a lot since wow, the visual viewers at home are going to love this face you're making. Wow, okay. Well, if there's anything, listen, I have been a fan of yours for a while. That's why I wanted to get you on the show. So I don't know what's going on with this whole thing that you got, but I feel like I need to ask you every single thing and tell you every single thing I've wanted to share with you for a while before something bad happens. So there's been something on my mind that I've really wanted to share with you for a long time. And if I could just share this one thing with you, I want to say that I wasn't there, but I heard there weren't enough snacks. That event you did last year, Squirrel Con 2K12, didn't really get a good... I mean, it was cool. I didn't get to go, but like I said, all the chatter on the internet was that there weren't enough snacks. I feel like you would have taken care of your fans a little bit better.
Oh, no, it's been really hard to get this thing off the ground. They would be correct. I didn't bring enough snacks. It's been poor funding. And, you know, my late CFO, he said to me... Late, yeah.
As in dead?
As in dead.
Okay.
Yeah. He always told me, if there's one thing that keeps a business alive, it's, do you know where I can find a dead body before 5?
Oh.
And he became that dead body before 5. And here we are today.
When did all that happen?
It was back in 2014 when we first started, and we had a 3-year lapse after that because I didn't want my name associated with that. So we rebranded the Skeeter's Peter YouTube channel.
That actually does remind me. Okay, I know that your original, I did some research, and I didn't know that you were scared of squirrels, but I did find out that your original squirrel tamer, Entree Sky Pops, was
I think you made that up.
shared. No. I looked it up on Squirrelpedia. Is where I found that information. And anyway,
Change.
I looked that up on nutsinmymouth.com. The Nut Lovers website that I do not have an account on, but I borrowed my neighbor's account to look it up. Anyway, I was trying to do my research for this interview to be prepared, and I remember there was one thing that Entree, your original squirrel tamer, passed down to you, and I thought it was very interesting that you had said this in previous interviews in the past, that he had shared this with you. What you tend to say is, so that's when I realized I had a big-time Batman fetish. So Entree was a big fan of Batman, or was that you paraphrasing, or are you a fan of Batman? I don't understand the whole fetish thing. I thought it was a squirrel thing. So I really wanted to kind of figure out where bats fit into that.
I can't believe this is still following me this late. I grew up loving Batman.
Okay.
I originally wanted to be a bat tamer.
Okay.
Change.
I've always loved bats too, but I've been really scared of bats.
So you're afraid of bats also?
Yeah, I'm afraid of pretty much anything and everything.
Okay.
But I so badly want to be famous that I've been trying to do anything and everything to make a name for myself. So that's where that came from. It was just to get attention.
Okay. Now it seems that
Kind of why I'm here.
right. So this is a good thing. Okay, I thought maybe me asking you about your family or your life story actually calmed you down for a second, but it does seem that the squirrel infection has
I just don't know how much more I can twitch my neck
returned.
like this.
Okay. Well, so here I don't really know what's going on, and I don't really know if you're okay. So I think, why don't we just go ahead and wrap this show up? And I'm going to let you do your thing. I'm going to try and keep as far away of a distance as I can. So, in theme of the show, I always wrap up the show with the exact same way, where we will actually compare our nuts. So, if you would like to go ahead and get up on the table first, we will present your nutical sack, and then I will present mine, and then we will put them both
weird.
in each of our... You knew this was the show. This is how I
was
end up...
just coming here to eat your nuts, and those nuts were delicious. I would love to eat your nuts again after the
No,
show.
that was an earlier segment. So to end this one, let's go ahead and do... it's the Nutz Out Podcast, so let's go ahead and we will do nut comparison here, and then we'll end the show.
All right, viewers, you can see it all right now.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and save everybody that horrifying fucking moment and stop the show now so we don't have to see these grotesque gentlemen's nuts.
Grotesque.
Okay.
Gentlemen.
I'm not even 100% sure what either of those words mean.
Well,
So,
if you know what I mean.
if you know what I mean, if you catch my Tokyo drift.
Hey, great squirrel acting.
Oh, I know.
Unfucking
I know.
believable.
I'll probably win an award for that. I can't wait to cut this into my next reel.
100% pissed my pants a little bit. That was one of my favorite things I've ever seen and been a part of.
So while Josh was turning into a squirrel, I was trying to interview him about it, but the whole time we were collecting some points, and I truly have no idea who got what points when. We just sort of played games and we kept going, and there was nuts everywhere, and I don't know what's going on. So Drew, if you could let us know, if you could tally up, what did everyone score? Who won this episode of Who's Life?
Well, I'm going to be honest. It was neck and neck. A real...
Nut and nut.
Nut and nut,
One
as
would
the
say.
kids say. It was a real barn burner. Ross came in with 5 points.
All right.
But Josh somehow came in with 6 points.
Incredible.
To declare his win.
Oh my God, I
Ross.
won.
Is that the first time you've
I
ever
won.
won this game?
That's the first time I got more than 1 point. Oh my God.
I truly only gave you 2 extra points for the fucking unbelievable dedication and acting, which I
deserve
feel
it.
was well deserved.
If there was ever a time...
I'm going to clap for
Unbelievable.
myself.
If there was ever a time
Unbelievable.
for Josh to win an episode, it's when he literally has to commit to turning into a squirrel after being bit by one. Hey, Drew, great choice. That was good. That was good. Well, folks, that was not only an episode of the Nutz Out Podcast. If you would like to see all of our nut sacks be compared, you can subscribe to the Who's Life Patreon, and that's where that will be. But I am still just very much in shock of your commitment to squirrel.
Same.
So
Yeah.
I think let's go ahead Before this one gets even more nutty. Huh?
That was so funny, dude. Great.
Huh? Here's what we're going to do before we have to do any more of that. Let's tell everybody goodbye. Drew, you want to be included in this one?
Yeah, fuck it.
Let's do it. Let's form our goodbye. Let's form the wrap-up of this episode, one word at a time with all three of us. But my only request is that Josh has to do it now fully in character of this this traveler who has been bitten by a squirrel. He is now full squirrel. One word at a time. I will kick us off. Hey.
Hi.
Thanks.
4.
Stopping.
Bye.
And
Thank
You
again.
4.
listening.
2.
Us.
At Whose Life Pod.